Honestly, Yet was written from one of the lowest points in my life. It was kind of in the middle of the pandemic, and I felt like I had lost a lot. And I felt like just before kind of COVID hit, I had a pretty clear idea of what my trajectory was going to be. And I was just like, wow, like God is so good. This is amazing. Like I could never have dreamed all of these things that were happening in my life at the time. And then I felt like all of that was lost. Like I had been on American Idol the year before. And so that kind of gave me this big platform that was so amazing. And I had been in this serious relationship that I was like, okay, like I have all these things happening. I was living in Nashville. I had all this music stuff planned. Like I just was feeling so excited and confident. And then I couldn't perform anymore. And then that relationship ended. And then just like I had realized I put a lot of my identity in things that could be taken away. And I quickly realized, oh wow, like my focus has been a little bit off. And so um I had been alone and I had just been feeling so defeated. And I was in a place where I felt really disconnected from God. And I was starting to question that in a way that I never had before because God has always been a really big and really, really important part of my life. And in those moments, I'm grateful that I was just taught a foundation of faith, that I would always turn to faith. But in that moment, I was turning to fear and to doubt. And I was kind of getting sucked into that. And I just remember one night, it was the first time I like, had really knelt down in prayer because I just felt like, wow, like I didn't feel like myself and I didn't recognize myself. I didn't recognize just the constant sadness I was feeling. And I just felt like I was um, disappointing God. And that was the heaviest part for me. It was just feeling like, man, I thought I was doing all these great things. And now I don't feel like I'm doing anything. And I feel like I'm wasting the gifts and the opportunities that I thought God was giving me. And I just felt that shame really heavily. And it was the first time I knelt down to like really sincerely pray. And I was just weeping. And I like the first thing that came out of my mouth was like, God, like, please don't give up on me yet. Like, I'm really trying. And I know that it's not nearly enough, but like this is all that I feel like I have to give right now. And I just remember feeling so overcome and so overwhelmed with love, which I wasn't expecting in that moment because I felt like I was at my lowest. And so I just sat down at my piano and I it was one of the coolest writing experiences I've ever had. Like it felt like I was praying and I was finally getting the prayer out that I was trying to pray for over a year. And honestly, like throughout so many different phases of my life, but I felt like I was co-writing it with the Lord. Like the Lord was giving me the words to finally be able to say that I had been seeking for so long. And also just giving me the permission to say them because I felt so guilty because I'm like, no, I know God is so good. I know God never gives up on me. I know all these things, but I'm doubting it in this moment, even though deep down I know it to be true. Like part of me is just like, is it true? And so it was such a beautiful experience for me to feel God's grace so purely to be like, I know this is how you're feeling and it's okay. And I'm still going to be with you and sit here with you and give you these words to say, even though the words feel scary and feel hard to say. And it just, that experience just transformed my relationship with God because it feels so much more personal and intimate now after having an experience like that. Um, and that song feels just as much as a gift for me. And so I get really emotional. And even just talking about it, I'm probably going to get emotional. But just anytime I sing that song, I'm like back in my room, like at that night when I was just praying and kind of at my lowest and just feeling God's love and his grace so purely in a moment that I felt so unworthy and so undeserving of that love. And so that was truly one of the most powerful and life-changing writing experiences I've ever had.